Grand Rising. It is Wednesday. Welcome to Grand Rising Elizabeth. Wealth Building Wednesday. Wealth Building Wednesday. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Ooh, I'm pumped up today. I'm pumped up. It's in the middle of the week, okay? We
Yep.
still got Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
You're going to get us over the hump.
To get us over the hump, to get it in, to get
Yeah.
it in. Well, for those who don't know, my name is Lakeisha LeGrand, also known as Madam Finance, because I help everyday people build wealth with confidence.
Yeah.
Anybody who comes to the Grand Rising Elizabeth, they know I love to start off the show with a millionaire and billionaire success story. Okay. So today's success story, most of us have heard this one before, is on Sarah Blakely. Sarah Blakely felt like a failure. She tried to become a stand up comedian, but fell short. She planned to go to law school, but failed the law school admission twice. She took the test twice and she failed it. She tried to become a cast member in the Disney World play Goofy, but she wasn't tall enough. Finally, she found work selling fax machines door to door. One day, suffering the heat and humidity in Florida, Blakely needed pantyhose to wear with white pants and sandals. So she cut the feet off, of a regular pair. They rolled up her leg annoyingly. I needed an undergarment that didn't exist, she said. Knowingly absolutely nothing about the hosiery business, Sarah read online articles and started researching fabrics and every night eventually designed a product she liked. She even taught herself patent law to save money. Sarah then hopped into her car and drove door to door in North Carolina, trying to talk to mill owners into manufacturing her product. Sarah received rejection after rejection after rejection, but she didn't give up. She pushed on until she finally got her suddenly. Her suddenly came. One mill owner who had sent her away called her back. He said, I decided to help make your crazy idea. She said, why? She asked. I have two daughters. Sarah didn't quit her job selling fax machines. For 2 years, Blakely sold office products 9 to 5 on weekdays and sold pantyhose on nights and weekends. She didn't resign until she was fairly confident her entrepreneur venture would take off. Now, Sarah's diligence has paid off. Spanx products are sold in 11,500 department stores, boutiques, and online shops in 40 countries, with revenue exceeding over $250 million per year. In 2012, at age 41, Blakely became the youngest self made female billionaire on the Forbes 400 list. Sarah is also a philanthropist, giving millions of dollars to charities every year. I declare and decree that all of us on here is a success story.
Ashe.
Awesome.
Ashe. I agree.
I agree, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I have a wonderful guest on here today. But before we get started, I can't help it. I'm going to try not to mess this up. So, I'll be praying and meditating, God, what's not, Lord, send me something. Ooh, y'all just blew me away. So I ain't trying to have church, but somebody need to hear this, okay?
Hey, okay.
Okay, I don't know where to begin, but I'm just going to go ahead and begin, okay? If God gave you a vision, he already prepared a way. But most people are too busy doubting the calling and walking in it. Did y'all If he gave you the vision, he already prepared a way. So what? Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Just step in that calling. That's what he was talking to me, Keisha. Step in that calling. I gave you step in that calling. He telling y'all to step in that calling. You keep saying, I don't have enough money. I don't have the connections. I don't have the resources. But what if the only thing you was missing was belief? Ooh,
Uh,
I was like, ooh, that's good.
that's good.
I'm sorry, y'all. I got hype. I was like, whoa, that was deep. Okay.
Yeah.
The only thing you was missing is belief. So, ooh-wee. Okay, let me go. Let me go. Okay. Now I ain't got this down pat, but I'm like, this is so good. Okay. All right. You keep saying, I don't have enough money. I don't have the connections. I don't have the resources. But what if the only thing you was actually missing is belief? God doesn't hand out unfinished assignments. He gave you a vision for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
If God gave you the idea in your spirit, if he gave you the idea in your spirit, the path is already made. You you just have not moved far enough to see it yet. Fear would tell you wait until everything is perfect. Faith tells you to start where you are and watch God multiply it. I said, ooh, we always, sometimes we don't move. I need to do this. I need to do that. No, I'm going to do this when I have some more money. When I'm going, but the Bible says, he who waits on perfect conditions never get anything done. So
Mm.
stop trying to work on getting stuff perfect, okay? Just start moving. Just start moving. So then it said, I'm sitting up here messing up my list. I had to type this up, y'all. I was like, oh, this is so good, but I had time to get it all together. But we're gonna get this through here. Okay. You have not moved far enough yet. Fear would tell you to wait until you have everything. Faith tells you to start with what you have and watch God multiply it. So are you waiting on God or is God waiting on you?
Mm.
Because the provision is there. The resources are there. And the only thing that you need to it's only going to show up to the people that's bold enough to believe and start. Because he gave us everything we need to live the life that we want to live. He gave us everything. Ain't nothing stopping us but us. Like everything you need, he done made a way for it. Now, this one right here, this is the last one, y'all. But I was like, oh, this is so good. It said most people will never get rich, and it doesn't have anything to do with money. Don't have nothing to do with money. Rich people trust their vision and doubt their fear. Poor people trust their fear and doubt their vision. I said,
Whoa.
ooh, did y'all hear that? I
Whoa.
need to say that one more time. Okay. Rich people trust their vision and doubt their fear.
Mm-hmm.
Poor people trust their fear and doubt their vision. I said, ooh wee. She said, looking at your bank account, it don't tell her about how much money you make. It tells her how much you trusted in your fear in the past. It's showing that you trusted your fear more than you trusted your vision. That's what it's showing you when you don't got that money in your bank account and it's not looking the way you, it's because you trusted your fear more than you trusted your vision.
Mm.
I said, ooh,
Ooh.
somebody needed to hear that. I don't know who, but somebody needed to hear that. That stuff was so good. Anybody got anything to say about that? Anybody got something to say about that? Because that was like really profound to me that what if all we needed was to believe?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't about the money. It ain't about the money, none of it. Because, like she said, the resources, everything is already here. We
Mm-hmm.
got an amazing ecosystem out here in Detroit to help you with your business, your vision, your service, whatever it is. Okay. And I do talk a lot about this is Wealth Building Wednesday. And true wealth only comes through business. It only comes through business. So it's either you're going to trust yourself, step
Mhm.
out and have your own business, or you're going to buy you some stock, which is ownership, and be an owner of somebody else's business. It don't matter. Whichever way you want to go, it's okay. Some millionaires and billionaires, they do both. They got their own business, plus they got ownership in other businesses.
Mhm.
All right, so that's my little morning look. My little morning session before I guess. Because I want to give him
Good.
some time. But
That
yeah,
is good.
you know what I'm saying. But I just thought that was so good. And my spirit said, somebody need to hear. He told, don't wait till I get this down pat. He was like, no, share it right now. Share it today. So I'm
Yes.
sharing it today. All right, dear. I want to welcome our wonderful and amazing guest, Mr. Mitchell Rogan. He's been on here before. He is passionate about gold. He is a serial entrepreneur. The man be making plenty of money. He is my wonderful and amazing friend, Mitchell Rogan. Take it away, Mitchell. Go ahead and tell him about all you do. You do so much. We ain't had time for me to tell you
No,
everything you do.
no, thank you very much, Lakeisha. You are an amazing lady. This is one of the, I've known Lakeisha for Madam Finance for a few years.
Oh, it's
The
been more than
hardest
a few
working,
years. Look, you made that clear yesterday.
yeah, but she's one of the hardest working, kindest ladies I know.
Mhm.
She's just amazing. She really is.
Thank
And
you.
I feel honored and blessed to know her and to be able to call her a friend. I really do. Phenomenal leader, um, just tirelessly working toward her goals. And I'm so happy to see that at this time, things are really coming together for this amazing lady.
Thank
Um,
you.
you know, thing, and I appreciate all of y'all taking the time to come on. That she invited me to be back. Um, I am a insurance agent, serial entrepreneur, like she said. Um, a lot of people are talking about what's going on today, and there's so much talk about the state of the United States and Trump and Musk and everything. One of the things I share with the people close to me, one, I personally am not concerned at all about them. I don't let them take up space in my head.
Mhm.
I don't let them take my time during the day. There's so much for us to do. The United States is far from being perfect. I've been blessed to travel the world. And even though it's not the United States, there's so many problems we have here. We have so many opportunities too that many other people don't have.
Mhm.
you know, and I tell people you can become successful or you can make excuses. You can't do both. And uh, you can't blame other people if you're not successful. And blame the government, well, they give people coming in from other countries money, but they don't do this to us. We were born and raised here, and we have phenomenal opportunity, but a lot of it's about our mindset.
Mhm.
you know, uh, and everybody here in the United States, especially those of us that were born here, Americans, we have endless opportunities if we just willing to get to work, not get and stay focused. You know, um, but I just wanted to say that. And I am so thankful for the opportunities that I have here. And there's multiple ways. There's no one way to be prosperous. You know, it's just like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, they're both billionaires. Bill Gates did it through technology. Warren Buffett did it through stocks and investments. And Jeff Bezos did it through retail. Jeff Bezos didn't think, well, I need to go design computers. But the key is staying focused. One common trait I've noticed from studying successful people is they have the ability to stay focused. And many people that aren't successful, they hop around. They're always following somebody else, but they don't set goals, stay focused. And so, one of the things I'm so thankful for by God's grace is that each one of us has the opportunity to have that, to set that dream and to look forward, to go forward. Um,
Yes.
it was so enlightening. I'm grateful for what Madam Finance just shared with us. Those were really nuggets. To think that to talk about it says, she said, rich people trust their vision,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and poor people trust their fears. And I was thinking, what do we have to fear? Really?
Ooh.
What do we have to fear? You
Ooh.
know, it's like in the Bible when uh, Jesus told Peter to step out of the boat and to walk on the water. And he had never did that before. He was scared, but all he had to do was step out there and walk and believe and trust. What she shared so much and if anybody else has done it, even many times if other people haven't done it, we can do it. Trust yourself, believe in you. You know, you ha- many of us don't have trust and belief in ourselves. And because the thing is, and when we doubt ourselves, we're really doubting God because this God's got to work through us. And so if I think I'm not going to be successful, I'm afraid to start. And you talk to people about entrepreneurship and they say, yeah, but I want that security of a check or a job. And that's because we've been misled and trained to do that, to want that. But the thing is, there's no such thing because in America, they can fire you at any time. And nobody, I mean, really at
They have
will,
shown that. They definitely have shown that
with no reason,
with no reason.
with no reason. So one thing I tell people, and they laugh sometimes, I ask myself, well, can I do this? Can I do that? And you know what? I've never told myself no. You know, when you're your own boss, when you're an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
you don't have a problem getting a day off,
Mm-hmm.
or a week, or a month, whatever you want. You ask the boss, you're the boss, and you approve yourself, you know, and that's a wonderful feeling. You know, I know I don't know any of the other you ladies, but I know if you are associated and a friend of Madam Finances, I know you're phenomenal ladies.
They
And
are.
I know that anything that you put your mind to, you can do. One of the things I've learned um, in business and in ventures and in life, we can achieve so much more working together than if we're out there working on our own. And so for that, I commend y'all ladies for coming together, supporting one another, working together, because we all can achieve a lot more. And that's what other nationalities do. And many times people want to say and put it out there in the universe, well, African Americans, we don't work together. They say that, other people, they do, we don't do it. And that almost upsets me when I hear that said. Because for one, it's not true. That's just something that's been put out there. And we've overcome more really than probably anybody on the face of the earth in the challenges and things that's come to. And two, if we haven't worked together as much as we've liked to in the past, the key is the present, and we can change that today.
Ooh.
We can't change the past. We can't, but we can change the present and the future. And that's the key. That's what we have to do. We can't even spend time. Again, time is so precious. That's the one thing. Once it's passed, you can't get it. You can't get it again.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to maximize your time And one of the ways to do that is don't spend any time with negativeness. Anything that you can believe, anything that you can see and you believe, you can achieve. It may take it a minute, but that's the importance of having that. We need focus, and we have to stay focused and stay grinding. That's one of the things, like I say, that I really admire and appreciate about Madam Finance. I've seen her over the years. Just stay focused, night and day.
Mm-hmm.
And a
Brother
lot of
Mitchell?
people talk about the 40-hour work week or something, or they concerned about how much they make on their job. I only make this amount. For one, why should who says we should only work 40 hours a week? Who made that? Somebody just made that up they pulled that up out of the air or other parts of their body, because there's nothing that says that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think of our ancestors and people before us, they worked from sun up to sundown.
Mm-hmm.
And
Brother
there is
Mitchell, we
yeah.
have a hand up. Lakeisha?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's my show and I gotta put my hand up. But
Oh, okay.
it's okay, Mitchell. It's okay. So I want to just piggyback on something that he said that was amazing. When we're talking about, fear, and a lot of us, have worked a lot with Reverend Omani. And one thing I've learned a lot being in the Course of Miracles is that fear is an illusion. It's an
Yeah.
illusion. Fear to me is false evidence appearing real. False evidence that's appearing. It doesn't exist. God did not. If you are fearful, then that means we are out of line. Somewhere you have lost, that's a disconnect. You have disconnected from God somewhere because you are supposed to be properly aligned with Him, and fear is not a part of being in alignment with Him.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing he's talked about was I don't know, but I can't think right now. I got so much stuff going in my head. Collaboration is better than competition. Like he said, us getting together, working together. Collaboration is better than competition. Let's don't be in competition with each other. Let's be supportive of one another. Let's figure
Amen.
out how we can get together and help one another. Don't be so quick. Buy my product. What I need. Ask them. What can I do to help you? What can I do to help you? You would believe you will go so much further by helping others. Because at the end of the day, it shouldn't be all about you. It should be about them.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be about you. So I just had to get that out. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and we talked about the things that you need to do to be successful. Let's not leave out having a successful routine. Okay, a
Yeah.
successful routine. I couldn't find my keys the other day. I said, "See, there you go. Need to have a routine. As soon as I walk in the door, the first thing I need to do is what I normally do is take my keys and put it on the Bible. I put it on my little altar. I put it in because I just feel safe. Put my keys on the Bible. Whenever I get in it, I'm like, ooh, it's like I feel safe. But having that routine, then I wouldn't have had that problem. Can't find my keys. If I would have came to the door, boom, do that. That's a successful routine, and I know it'll always be there. So I just,
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
you're doing a great job, Mitchell. Go
No,
ahead.
no, no. But that is phenomenal. You're absolutely right too. It's, working together. And one of the things that when you were speaking just now, Madam Finance, that I thought about too, you talk about helping others. The more you help others, it comes back to you. You're sowing. And when you sow, you reap. And the problem a lot of people have, they wonder why they're reaping. They're not reaping because they're not sowing. You can't reap if you don't sow. You know, um, Sometimes people think that other people are just so lucky, but I'm not as lucky as them. I don't really believe in luck a lot, to be honest. You make your own luck. Why does things happen to you? Because God is in control of everything. And so if you're constantly sowing, one thing you can't do, you cannot outgive God. And if you're constantly sowing, you have to reap, whether you want to or not. So that's the thing.
Wow.
That's so important. One of the things, as Madam Finance mentioned, that I am very passionate about is silver and gold. And it's because of the state of things are now. I am a senior citizen, and my whole life, I've never heard people talk about the price of eggs as much as they are now. I'm like, really? The biggest problem you got is the price of
Price of
eggs.
eggs.
It's ridiculous. It's insane. And the price of gas and the price of this and the price of that. The price is the price. If you want the eggs, you pay the price. If you don't want to pay the price, just stop eating eggs. I mean, life
Yeah.
isn't that difficult. It's simple. It's really simple. Can people make they create stress? It's almost like they want to create stress in their life because they decide to worry about just ridiculous things they have no control over. And that's the thing is, if we want to be successful, one, like I mentioned earlier, focus is a huge, it's really important, so valuable. And two, control what you can control. The things that you can't control, it makes no sense. It's just a waste of time to worry about. You can't control it. Do what you can and trust the Lord for the rest. Um, but one of the things I want to mention though about silver and gold is so important. We don't hear people talking a lot about it. You hear more about it now than we did in the past. But and it's I agree that what Madam Finance earlier mentioned about how you know in the if you want to be free, you really want to, you need to, and you want to be successful, you want to be prosperous, you really do need to have either your own business or invest in other businesses, invest in stocks and bonds. That's obviously. But also along with in your investing in stocks and bonds, you want to diversify. One of the basic principles of wealth building and investing is to diversify. It's not to put all your eggs in one basket. And one of the best ways to diversify, and what banks are doing now, all over the world, wealthy people all over the world, even though they're not talking about it, they're buying silver and gold at record amounts. Because and just to give an illustration, one of the reasons that's so important, and sometimes we don't think about, in 1965, if you wanted to buy a brand new Ford Mustang, you could buy a brand new Ford Mustang for $2,500. At that time, a ounce of 1 ounce of gold, I mean a silver dollar, like I don't know if you can see a silver dollar like I got in my hand here, was equal to a dollar bill. So at that time, you could have bought it with either $2,500 bill or 2,500 shows. These two were equal, and a dollar bill and a 1 ounce silver dollar. So you could have went in. So just say you had 2,500 silver dollars, you had $2,500 bills, you put them in a vault, just let them sit there. You pull them out today. We know that a brand new Ford Mustang today costs more than $2,500. It costs about $35,000 to $40,000. $2,500 would need to be enough for a down payment on one. But 2,500 of these 1 ounce silver coins in today's dollars would buy you two new Mustangs. It would be worth about $80,000 because it holds its value. Inflation hasn't eaten up the buying power. See, people look at dollars and they think, oh, wow, how many dollars do I have? But the real value is, what can I buy with the amount of dollars I have? And since the dollar was created, when it was created, A dollar was worth a dollar. You had a dollar worth of purchasing power. Today, on those standards, you have about 3 cents worth of purchasing power or less
Wow.
because of inflation and that's, and people don't think of that. And that's why wealthy people don't have a bunch of money in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
We may like to say, oh, I got $250,000 in the bank. I got $500,000 in the bank. And that's nice. Trust me, that's good. But if the dollar goes to zero, it's a good possibility. One of the things I want to share in a few minutes will show us that. And all of us in school, math was one of my favorite subjects. So if you have $1 million, but the dollars isn't worth anything, it's worth zero. 1 million times zero. Anybody know what that is? 1 million times zero?
Zero.
Zero, exactly. And that's why wealthy people, they put their money in assets. They purchase assets. They buy land. They buy fine art. They buy silver and gold.
Mm-hmm.
And
They
they put the money in the stock market.
and they put, yeah, but even the stock market, they put a lot of they make money in the stock market, but they take a lot of that and put in assets because you know why? Because the stock market, it's tied. When you sell your stock, what do you get? It's tied to the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely want to put money in the stock market. You definitely do because and it's long term, but you want to store value. They go in the stock market. You can make a phenomenal amount of money in the stock market. They go in there and make that money, and then they transfer it because you don't buy silver and gold. Wealth isn't purchased. Wealth is transferred. People are constantly transferring wealth, and they transfer it in the forms like when we leave out of here, we can't take. I can get as much silver and gold as I want, but there's not going to be a vault, there's not going to be a vault behind the hearse when they're on the way taking me to the cemetery. It's transferred. Once I'm out of here, this goes to my children. It goes to my grandchildren. And that's my why. That's why I do what I do. Is because many people they leave wealth to their children. Other people just leave debts or nothing. And we want to be in the position that we can leave, because it's not about making the money or whatever. It's about one, what we can do with it, people we can help, and two, what we can leave our family and our friends and our loved ones and the people we love. It's like Madam Finance was talking about the lady that she spoke about this morning. And she said she's a philanthropist. Because she has the money, we're all the same. We're all equal. One person is not better than the other, whether they have money or they don't have money. But if somebody's hungry, and it's nice to say, I'm going to pray for you, but it's nicer if you can buy them a meal and still pray for them.
Mm-hmm.
If their gas Michigan gets cold in the winter. People can't afford to pay their gas bill. Well, if you can help pay somebody's gas bill and pray for them, you've been a real blessing and a help. And it's what we can do with it. And not only even for ourselves, but even blessing other people. That's it. But I just wanted to share that about silver and gold, how that it helps us retain the value of what we've earned.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy. And we, some people ask, well, how do you, if I have silver and gold and a situation comes up, how can I liquidate it? Because you can't always just go in the store. Well, you could give them one of these and they'll give you $1 for it, a value of $1. But this is worth $35, $40. So why would you do that? A story, this is a true story. I have a lot of friends that are really into, uh, doing silver and gold. And one young man, a gentleman passed away, and he left a bunch of 1 ounce silver coins to his son. Son didn't know the value of it. And on it, they say $1. And he wanted to get his car detailed, and it cost $300. He gave the person 300 of these. So that detail, instead of costing him $300, it cost, because he didn't know. What you don't know sometimes will hurt you.
Yeah.
Well, because he didn't know, he paid $10,000 for that detail. And that's why it's important to educate ourselves in whatever we're doing, so that
Mitchell,
we can be aware of what's going on.
Mitchell, how long is your video? We got 20 minutes. So we your presentation. We're gonna make sure we get your presentation in.
Okay. The video, okay,
I
it's
mean
about
your video, whatever you was going to show. I want to make sure.
right. I had a couple of them. I want to show this for a few minutes long, and I'll go ahead and show them now.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And let me share my screen and just.
And Mitchell, I don't know if you're going to talk about this, but I'd like to know the difference in the value of gold versus silver.
Okay, absolutely. I will answer that question. Let me just play this real quick, because it's important for us to be aware of what's coming.
Yeah.
If you're aware of what's coming, you can prepare. It's just like in the Bible, when Noah was building God told him it was going to rain. It never rained before, but he was able to build the ark. So when the rain came, the people that did believe him was able to be saved. And that's the same. We got a lot coming economically right now that a lot of people are unaware of. But let me share this video first, real quick. Let's see. Share my screen. Click here. And this was someone testifying before Congress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to speak frankly at first to the American people. We're nearing $37 trillion in national debt. What does that mean? That means that each and every U.S. taxpayer owes over $323,000. Okay, what does that mean? That means when the EPIC, which is the Economic Policy Innovation Center, says we have 18 trillion left. That's it, 18 trillion left to take out, and we're spending $2 trillion in debt every year. Folks, we're at the precipice of a debt, like a debt cycle. We are literally at a point in which the dollar will be worth nothing. What does that mean? And we know Social Security goes bankrupt in 8 years, right? Medicare goes bankrupt in 10 years. And then 15 years from now, the dollar is completely devalued and worth nothing. So what does that mean? That means your pension, the money in your bank, your savings is nothing. It's worthless. So what are we doing? We're trying to save this country. We're trying to save your pensions. We're trying to save your bank accounts. We're trying to save this country for the next generation. And it would be nice if we had help.
Yes. And, if they're testifying before Congress, did you see that on the Fox News or NSNBC?
I've seen that from somewhere, but I think you might have showed that the last time you was here.
Yeah,
I do remember seeing that. That's something to think about. Like, we can't continue to put our future, in somebody else's hands. We have to be in control of our own finances.
When was that? Excuse me, I'm sorry. When was that video shown? When did he make that?
Oh, when did he do that?
What year? So I
What
need to
year? I
count
don't
8
remember
years
the
from that.
exact year. It's been within the last 3 years,
Okay.
but I don't remember the exact year. There's another video I want to show too, a short one. But it's really good to be aware to see that. So, and one thing for sure, because a lot of people don't realize it, but there's over 25 countries right now that have stopped accepting the US dollar.
Yeah.
Every country accepts this.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to transfer. Like I say, I'm not saying you got to put all your money in that, but it's good to transfer some of your money over into precious metals into silver and gold. And let me show one more quick video about the dollar, and then I will answer your question about the gold and the silver.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever wondered what gives that paper bill in your hand its value? The answer is fiat currency. Fiat currency is a type of currency that is declared legal tender by a government, but is not backed by a physical commodity such as gold or silver. In the past, currencies were backed by commodities like gold or silver, which meant that the value of the currency was directly tied to the value of the commodity. This was known as the gold standard. However, most countries have moved away from this system and now use fiat currency. Fiat currency is created by a government or central bank, and its value is derived from the faith and confidence that people have in it. In other words, people accept fiat currency because they believe that others will also accept it, and because they trust that the government or central bank will ensure its stability. However, this trust can be eroded if the government prints too much fiat currency, causing inflation. Inflation occurs when there is too much money in circulation, causing the value of each individual banknote to decrease. Nowadays, most transactions are conducted digitally, with fiat currency existing in the form of electronic credits and debits in bank accounts. So, the next time you make a digital payment or hold a paper bill in your hand, remember that fiat currency derives its value from the trust that people have in it. And if that trust isn't strong, well, your dollar won't be either. But gold and silver, now that's sound money, because they're tangible assets, meaning once they're yours, you don't have to use trust to pay for things. You've got real money, and that's value that hasn't gone away in over 5,000 years.
I'm going to put you in the shoes of a 30-year-old living in the US. It's 2020 and the whole country gets shut down. Yes, that really happened. But this guy Ryan has been responsible his whole life. He's worked hard since he was 18, no partying, no traveling, definitely no silly Amazon purchases. He saved up $100,000 to buy a house and to take care of his family. But then the pandemic comes and he decides, I'm going to keep being responsible and lock my money away until times are less volatile. Traditionally considered a good decision. 3 years later, he comes back to his money and he can't buy the house. Prices are 37% more expensive. To fill up his car, it's double the price. That $100,000 that he spent 12 years working so hard for is worth $70,000 in real terms. And that's just 3 years. This is what he gets for working hard, 9 to 5, saving, no gambling, no speculation. He gets hit with what's known in the finance community with the silent tax. The silent tax is not just in the great country of the USA. In most countries, it's much worse. If we used the same example with the same amount and the same time period, but changed him to being in Argentina with pesos, he would have 15,000 left today. I wish this was a made-up story in some inverse reality, but it's not. The thing we know as traditional currency has got major flaws to it. If only there were another way. The idea of currency is fundamentally a good one. I'm a fisherman and you're a lumberjack. I fish, I have some left over, so I give some fish to you. And in return, you give me some logs. Hang on, I don't need any logs. Well, use this piece of paper instead to store the value so you can use it on something that you do need. That piece of paper is what we call currency, or a store of value. The problem comes not with the concept of currency, but with the people who control that currency. This institution is known as the central bank, or in the USA, the Federal Reserve. Like your uncle who can't shake his gambling habits, the central bank has a nasty habit of their own.
The Fed was printing too much money.
Federal Reserve pumping money in.
The Federal Reserve just printed $300 billion in 1 week.
That has gone up $800 billion.
Is that the government printed a zillion more money than it had.
Unlimited money.
The Federal Reserve and the central bank in Japan and the central bank in England and the central bank in Europe printing staggering amounts of money.
Inflation is going to last for years.
The Fed's nasty habit is printing money. Unfortunately, what happens when you print more money into the system, it devalues the current money that's already in the system. So everyone's cash that they've saved in the bank effectively gets devalued by how much is printed. And then you're left with the savers who become losers, and the not savers, well, they stay broke too. Either this is just the way things have been, is now, and will always be, and we must just deal with it, or we can find a solution.
Yes, I wanted to share that because in 2020, in 1 month in the United States, they printed more money than they had previously printed in 200 years.
Wow.
And that's where a lot of those stimulus checks came from, the PPP loans, and all of those things was nice. And what did they tell you to do with those? You know, when you got them, what did they say to do? They said to spend them because they said that'll boost the economy.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's one thing if people get them checks and they put them, at least, you know, put them back and save, but you know, they were just buying more, you know, and so the rich got richer. The people that own those companies, you know, got richer, and the other people stayed home. But it's important that as we get educated, you know, like they say, if we know better, we do better. So it's important to get that, you know, those that kind of education. Also, and I didn't forget about you, about the silver and the gold. Just 1 second, let me bring something up. Silver and gold both are really good investments. And what the main difference in the silver and the gold, what is that? Is that right, like today, right now, approximately, you know, the silver and gold is just, it's a commodity like stocks. You know, they go up and down, stocks, crypto, and all that. But right now, an ounce of silver is around $3,000, around $3,045. An ounce of gold is worth about $30. But the difference, silver, like gold, is mainly used just as a commodity or as jewelry and things like that. Silver is used in almost everything we use. Silver is used in cell phones. Silver is used in batteries. Silver is really useful. So to be honest, they're saying that in the near future, the price of silver is really going to skyrocket. Also, the thing is, when you're investing, obviously you're looking at your, you know, what percentage are you going to profit? So obviously, if something costs $3,000, it got to go up a lot more for you to make money than if something costs $30. You know, if something costs $30 and it goes up to $60, you doubled your money. If you know, but we recommend, and all the things I've studied and I've read, it's recommended to have both if you can, but at least have one because both of them keep their value. In last year, from 2024, over the last year, the price of gold has went up 40%. And the price of gold has never, ever in 5,000 years went down to zero. That's something the stock market can't say. One, it would be hard to get a 40% jump in 1 year, last year. It's good long term. And this went down to zero. I forget how many, for thousands of times, over 1,000 times. But
I have
it,
go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I have a question for you. It's 9:54. So I have a couple questions I would like to
Okay.
ask you, okay?
Okay.
The first question is, what's one lesson you've learned in business that completely changed your life?
Okay, that's a great question. One lesson I've learned in business that has completely changed my life, I think, is that the importance of being focused. Because whenever you set out to do something, then a number of other things that maybe you didn't even think about before, they come up. They try to distract you. And if you allow yourself to get distracted, that can delay or sometimes even keep you from ever being completing what you was trying to do. And you have to stay focused. You had to, and that has to, you have to make it a priority. Once you know what you want to do and you got your plan out, then you got to go to work, and if other people come or whatever, you have to stay focused. And sometimes that means saying no, because some people have a hard time saying no to people. Sometimes that means doing something that's unpopular. Everybody else wants you, you're going to be there. You have to miss certain things. There's a price to success. And I would say that's the one thing that I learned over the years, and through training, through studying successful people, is one thing they had in common is the ability to stay focused.
Awesome. My next question is, if you could go back and give your younger self one advice, what would it be?
Well, that's an easy one. It would be to pay myself first. The average person today, they pay everybody else, because the government, they make sure they get their money. When something happens, you get your taxes come out first. And many people, we've heard the saying that we have too much month left at the end of our money. So you may plan to do something, you run out of money. Okay, I'm going to do it next week. And then I'm going to do it next week. But I would, anytime I was paid or whatever, I would take 10% and give it to the Lord, and take 10% and give it to Mitchell. Then everybody else would get theirs. Because the thing is, if you do that consistently, eventually anybody can become wealthy. But it takes over time. A little by a little, compounding would add up. Anybody can become a millionaire. If they got like 30 years or 40 years, you put just a little bit back in the compounds and everything. But many times, the thing is, if you don't do that, anytime you run out before you do what you was going to do, then that hinders things. But if you do that, you pay yourself first, and at the end of the month, you run out. And maybe you don't have enough to cover your gas bill or your electric bill. You can always make arrangements. And then eventually you're going to get to the point that you're going to cover everything, have things left over, and you're going to be able to bless other people.
Yeah, I don't know what's scarier, investing $25 a month or staying broke forever. Okay.
You don't know. That's obvious.
I don't know what's scary. Investing $25 a month.
Yeah.
Or staying broke forever. Like, we have $25.
Absolutely.
We do everything that we want to do. You can find an extra $25 somewhere, somehow. And it's like you said earlier today, we live in this United States a world of possibilities. Like it's so many ways to get money, under the table. We're wise. Share that wisdom. You can get paid for just sharing your wisdom, you know, all kind of stuff. Back in the day, selling lemonade. It's all kind of stuff that you can do nowadays to really make some extra, make some extra income. Yeah. So it's 9:59. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone, who showed up. I couldn't really see because I'm only showing the people who showed their face. But thank you, Sharonda, TJ, Lolly, Evelyn, Queen, Sheila. I hope I didn't miss anybody, but thank you so much for taking out the time to join the Elizabeths, today. We always work Monday through Friday to give you some valuable information that's life-changing on all different areas in your life. So I just want to say thank you, Mitchell. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. It was so much that we talked about yesterday that we thought we were going to mention, but we only had 1 hour.
Right.
So I'm gonna save it for another show. Yes, Queen.
Yeah, we do. Mama Evelyn, we have a special guest tomorrow. And Evelyn, you want to come on and share? You've seen this artist. His name is Donald
Calloway.
Yeah, and he is very, very popular out in Detroit. And he is going to join us tomorrow. You want to say anything, Evelyn?
Yeah, well, I just talked to him yesterday and I had to whip up that little flyer, but yeah, he's just gonna come on and tell us what he does. He does a lot of things. He's all every time I go to every show, I'm really looking forward to hear what he's into. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so
So
join us
yes.
in the morning. Yeah, it's yeah. He's phenomenal. He's all over, very well known. You've seen his art. If you've been to any festivals or stuff, you have seen his art out there.
Yes.
Okay, that is so awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Those who don't know Evelyn's show, it's about creativity. Getting your creativity out. We all are creators. One thing about it, God is a creator, and so are you. So she helps brings out that creative side of everyone. So I would like for everybody to give themselves a hug. I love to kiss myself. Sometimes we don't hug ourselves and tell yourself, I just love you, Lakeisha. I
love you, Evelyn.
That's because the world needs a hug too.
Yes.
And let's sprinkle lots of love and light, abundant light to the president and all of those that are in authority. Let's send them some love and light. You never know. Enough people send enough love and light over there. We may be surprised of the outcome. So peace out. Have a wonderful and fantastic day on purpose.
All right. Peace. Love you guys.
Love you.